Billionaire watches black girl dance with disabled daughter. What happens next is shocking. It was a sunny Friday afternoon when the unexpected unfolded at the local park. A small crowd gathered, their murmurs rising above the rustle of the leaves, all eyes fixed on the vibrant scene before them. In the middle of it all was Tasha, an 11-year-old girl dancing with an energy that seemed to lift her spirit above the grounded struggles of her life. Her mother, Maya, watched with pride, though her heart ached beneath layers of worry. It was here, amid laughter and clapping, that a billionaire known for his icy demeanor stepped out of his luxurious black car. He wore sunglasses that seemed to shield him not just from the sun, but from the humanity unfolding around him. The warmth and joy of Tasha's dance pierced through the ice encasing his world. This wasn't just a random visit, there was an air of mystery wrapped around him. People couldn't help but speculate, why was he here? As Tasha twirled, her tiny frame captured the sunlight, each move a testament to her spirit. She had been born with a serious disability that made her independent movements a hard-won miracle. Her mother's heart swayed with every spin, a lump forming in her throat, both a blessing and a burden. What if this moment attracted unwanted attention? The crowd grew restless, excitement swirling in the air. Whispers surged like the tide, his presence was leaving everyone torn between awe and apprehension. What was a billionaire doing here? After all, people around town spoke of his zero tolerance for anyone interrupting his carefully curated world. Yet, there he stood, captivated by a girl who had nothing yet seemed to have everything. Just then, the billionaire's eyes locked onto Tasha's as she performed the most daring dance move, a pirouette, her smile dazzling. Suddenly, there was an unsettling silence. Was it an invitation? A challenge? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect, and just like that, the tension snapped back into focus. The crowd held its collective breath, and the billionaire, a hint of a smirk unfurling on his lips, began to stride toward Tasha. What would happen when he reached her? Would he offer a helping hand, a word of encouragement, or something darker, something that would shatter the fragile reality surrounding them? The tension hung in the air, thick and electric, leaving everyone on the edge of their seats, minds racing with possibilities. The moment hung suspended like a breath held too long. Maya's heart raced, the world around her fading as the billionaire drew closer to her daughter. She felt the thrumming of anticipation in her chest, a cocktail of hope and dread swirling together, each thought colliding with the other. Tasha, blissfully unaware, continued her dance, a beautiful whirlwind of joy and resilience. The onlookers held their breath, some murmuring quietly amongst themselves, while others couldn't help but exchange glances filled with uncertainty and intrigue. What could this man, so used to power and control, want with Tasha? As he approached, the smirk on his face shifted slightly. Was it interest? Amusement? The shadows from his sunglasses obscured his eyes, leaving behind only the outline of that enigmatic smile. It was as if he had entered a different realm, one where he was both the spectator and the main character. "Excuse me," he said, his voice deep and resonant, cutting through the silence. The words washed over Maya like ice water, cold and shocking. How could he speak so casually while a child danced her heart out, pouring everything she had into the performance? Tasha stopped suddenly, the joy in her eyes replaced with a flicker of uncertainty. She lowered her arms, a question forming on her lips. "What do you want?" she asked, her innocence brimming over with an edge of courage. The crowd held its collective breath. "I wanted to see what happens when the music stops," he replied, his voice smooth like silk yet layered with an unusual weight. "And to see if you can dance for more than just applause." "More than applause?" Tasha frowned, her hands on her hips, baffled yet intrigued by his proposition. Maya's stomach churned. What did he mean? Everyone knew the man's reputation for manipulation. What if this was some game, a way to play with Tasha's dreams? She instinctively stepped forward, her protective instincts flaring. Tasha, honey, let us not mom, wait. Tasha's voice rang out with an unexpected strength. Let me see what he wants. Maya's heart sank. Had she raised an independent spirit or a naive child? The crowd mirrored her confusion, whispers swirling around them again with renewed vigor. I can offer you something more than just applause, Tasha, the billionaire continued, stepping even closer. What if I told you I could help you dance on a bigger stage, with more people who will see you for who you truly are? All you have to do is meet me at my office on Monday. Eyes widened and gasps erupted from the crowd. Some people looked astonished, while others murmured their disapproval. Maya felt her heart leap into her throat, that lump threatening to break her composure. Was this a gift or a curse? Before she could think, Tasha blinked, weighing the offer like an actress considering a script. What kind of help? An unsettling smile crept across his face, and that's when Maya knew it was time to intervene. She stepped forward, ready to protect her daughter at all costs. Just a moment, she managed, her voice trembling, fear pulsing through her. You don't know what you're asking. But it was too late. The billionaire's gaze locked once more on Tasha, drawn back into the magnetic pull of this girl who had become so much more than just a dancer in the park. The silence was overwhelmingly thick. What would Maya choose, protective love or trust in her daughter's courage? The choice was not clear, shadows creeping in around the edges. Suddenly, a loud thud echoed across the park, shattering the tension like glass. The crowd gasped, turning to see what had happened. In that moment of distraction, Tasha's expression changed entirely, her face lit up with determination. I want to dance, she declared loudly, her voice cutting through the chaos, and as she turned back to the billionaire, she seemed ready to accept whatever path unfolded. The air trembled with anticipation, nerves alive with mystery. What lay ahead in this strange encounter? Would Maya's protective instincts overshadow her daughter's desires? As they all stood waiting, one thing was undeniable: this was just the beginning. Maya's heart raced even faster now, the chaos in the park swirling around her like a storm. She turned to gauge the source of the thud, but the crowd had shifted its focus. A small child had fallen, a bicycle barely inches from him, and panic erupted. Parents rushed to their kids, faces twisted with concern. But Tasha, her mind still locked onto the billionaire, stood resolute. Please. The girl implored, the fire in her voice like embers igniting. The billionaire appeared unfazed by the confusion, his attention still fixed on Tasha. It was as if the world had narrowed to just the two of them. Tasha, come back. Maya cried, instinct pulling her to her daughter, yet Tasha remained planted, her determination shining brighter than ever. The whispers of the crowd turned into a roar, and the atmosphere felt electric, pregnant with possibilities. Dance for me, the billionaire said, leaning slightly forward. Show me what you're made of. Maya's blood boiled, fear and protectiveness surging through her. You're only using her, you know that. Am I? Or am I offering her something she truly wants? His words dripped with unshakable confidence. He shifted his gaze momentarily to Maya, a fleeting challenge in his expression. Life isn't always about safety, is it? Time seemed to freeze. Maya held her breath, her resolve teetering on the edge. What if this was Tasha's moment, the chance she had been dreaming of? But the stakes were high. The man in front of them was known for making deals that entangled lives, often unwound just as easily. Tasha's voice cut through Maya's turmoil, a gentle command. Let me try. Maya. A voice called unexpectedly from behind. It was Camille, one of Tasha's dance instructors, breathless and wide-eyed as she rushed through the throng. I heard what he said. Don't let her. Too late, Maya responded abruptly, her throat tight. She's made her choice. But what if he's playing with her dreams, Maya? This isn't just about a dance. It's about a life she won't understand until it's too late. Tasha's spirit burned bright, and Maya could see it, felt it, the familiar flicker of passion for dance lighting her up from the inside. The crowd watched, their expressions shifting from shock to anticipation. They sensed the gravity encircling these three figures. Just one dance, Tasha, the billionaire coaxed, his voice smooth yet insistent. If you don't like it, you walk away. Deal? Deal, Tasha replied, her voice strong, filled with an electric will. Maya's heart sank. No, wait. You can't just. But Tasha had already taken a step forward. The music from a nearby street performer floated through the air, a lively tune that seemed to beckon. Tasha twirled around, her body responding instinctively, bringing to life the joy spilled from her soul. The crowd murmured, leaning in closer, eager for this unexpected spectacle. Tasha's form became fluid, her movements graceful as they echoed the whims of the melody. Each note was a relationship, a promise, and Maya watched, paralyzed, while excitement and dread twisted through her gut. Maya could feel her heart split, torn between pride and fear. What if this dance was a doorway to something darker? What if this powerful man offered Tasha more than just a stage? What if he held the potential to shatter her spirit? Then the man stepped back, arms crossed, an ominous appraisal on his face. Tasha danced, but with each twirl, she also stood at a precipice, a cliff, shadowed by uncertainty. As the music swelled, something shifted in the atmosphere. The cheerful notes transformed into a counterpoint, nearly ominous, as if setting a trap. With every spin, Tasha seemed to capture not just the audience but the billionaire's full attention. Then, as she reached the crescendo of her performance, the billionaire's expression morphed. A flicker of something darker and unveiling of intent shimmered beneath his confident exterior. Tasha finished, breathless but glowing, and it was as if the world around them held its breath waiting for his verdict. What would he offer next? Maya's heart raced. Two paths lay before them, one filled with hope and promise, the other with shadows lurking, ready to pounce. But as the applause erupted, applause that filled the air with a mix of joy and foreboding, the billionaire leaned in and whispered something directly into Tasha's ear. She smiled, a smile so radiant, yet there was a glint in her eyes that made Maya's skin prickle with trepidation. What had he said? What had she agreed to in that fleeting moment? The air thickened with anticipation, and as the crowd dispersed, one thing was undeniable: this story was only just beginning. Tasha's smile lingered in the air like a fleeting shadow, and for a moment, time stretched thin. The jubilant noise of the crowd faded into a muffled hum, drowning Maya in a sea of uncertainty. What had the billionaire whispered to her daughter? Maya's heart raced as she caught Tasha's eye. The girl's gaze sparkled with excitement, yet there was something else, an urgency, a hunger for approval that sent alarms ringing in Maya's mind. It twisted like a knife in her gut. Tasha, come here. She shouted, desperate to pull her daughter back from the edge, but Tasha simply shook her head, the determination in her stance as fierce as it had been since she first stepped onto that makeshift stage. Just a moment, Mom. I need to hear what he has to say. The billionaire stood waiting, a smile playing on his lips as if he savored the tension he had woven with a single whispered word. There was an undeniable spark between them, both a connection and a manipulation, like flame flickering dangerously close to dry wood. Camille rushed to Maya's side, her eyes wide with fear. You have to do something. We need to get her out of here. Maya's voice trembled with urgency. But what if she's right? What if this leads to something wonderful for her? Wonderful? Or treacherous? Camille shot back, infusing her words with a mixture of dread and anger. You know who he is, Maya. This isn't just a dance competition, it's a game to him. The crowd began dispersing, responding to their own lives, but Maya felt suspended in disbelief, watching Tasha. Every dancer at the park had been working hard for their moment, and now here was a child standing before a predator masquerading as a benefactor. Fear crawled down Maya's spine like ice. Tell him no, Tasha. Please. She pleaded, her voice cracking with the weight of her unease. Tasha's face glowed with a confidence that both thrilled and terrified Maya. She took a deep breath, then looked back at the billionaire, her expression shifting into something unreadable. What's the next step? She asked as though she were auditioning for a role. Maya forced her way through the thinning crowd and reached out for her daughter, grasping Tasha's wrist. You promised me you'd think about it and I did. Mom, it's just a chance. You don't understand. Understand what? That he's not thinking of you. You are like a toy to him. Maya's chest tightened. He's not a friend, Tasha. You're not just some dancer, you're my daughter. The billionaire stepped forward, smooth and calculating. I admire her spirit, Maya. Tasha has something very rare potential. I would like to nurture that. Maya's muscles coiled with rage. Nurture. Or exploit. The billionaire chuckled lightly, feigning innocence, yet it felt heavy with rue. Call it what you will. But this is an opportunity, not just for her talent but for her future. Tasha turned, gaze fixed upon the billionaire, her brows knitting in thought. What kind of opportunity? His voice dropped, sultry and persuasive. Imagine a world where you don't have to struggle, where real doors can open just for you. Dance isn't just about performance, it's about making connections, establishing yourself. I can show you how. A rapid shuffling rippled through Maya's thoughts. She had always encouraged Tasha to be bold, to chase her passions. Yet, with this man looming, life's hard lessons suddenly transformed into a swirling vortex of dangers that felt too real, but as Tasha listened, the glow in her eyes intensified. What do I have to do? She asked, innocent yet determined, like a moth drawn to a flickering flame. Maya's voice was barely a whisper. No, Tasha, please don't. I'll find my way. The billionaire's lips curled into a knowing grin, and Maya felt her breath hitch as though she could see the strings of fate tightening around her daughter, binding Tasha to his will. As the night descended, the park lights flickered to life, revealing shadows lurking at the edges of possibility. Frantically, Maya searched for answers, but no words came. She had to protect her child, but how? Suddenly, the billionaire leaned closer, conspiratorial, making Tasha lean in as well. Their exchange felt charged, like the moment before a storm broke. Whatever I offer you, Tasha, will enhance your talent and change your life forever. Are you ready for that? As the question hung in the air, Maya's heart lurched. There was no turning back after this, yet one thing remained clearer than ever: she had to act fast before the darkness could snatch her daughter away. And just when Maya sensed she would burst, her phone vibrated sharply in her pocket. Her heart raced as she glimpsed the name on the screen. Was it the warning she needed, or just another complication in a night already spiraling out of control? What did the message say? And could it save Tasha from the growing shadows? Maya's fingers trembled as she fished her phone from her pocket. The screen flashed a familiar, urgent name: Lila, her childhood friend who had always offered sound advice. What could Lila want at a time like this? She felt torn between reading the message and keeping her eyes glued on Tasha, the little girl she'd raised into a young woman. Just one glance at the phone. You can't ignore this. Maya's heart raced as she pressed the screen to reveal the message: meet me at the cafe. Something's wrong. Nausea knotted in her stomach. Could wrong mean Tasha? Could it be about the billionaire? Mom. What is going on? Tasha's voice broke through the fog of dread, pulling Maya back to the moment. Nothing, darling. I just need you to stay right here, Maya replied, forcing a calmness she didn't feel. Can you do that for me? The desire in Tasha's eyes flickered, but she stood firm. I want this, Mom. You have to trust me. Before Maya could respond, the billionaire interjected smoothly: the world is waiting for a star like Tasha. And stars don't just accept opportunities, they seize them. Maya felt as if she were shrinking under his charisma. This isn't just about dancing. It's about your life, Tasha. What if it's about both? Tasha countered, fire igniting her voice. I can make a difference in the world, and he can help me. Suddenly, a few witnesses' friends and fellow dancers began to drift back, drawn in by the tense conversation. They whispered among themselves, sensing the heaviness in the air. This doesn't feel right, came the murmured judgment from a supporter in the group. Maya's gaze darted from Tasha to the billionaire, and then the crowd, searching for an ally, someone who could speak sense into this nightmare. But the expressions she met ranged from intrigue to concern, and none offered the reassurance she desperately needed. Just listen to me for once. Maya's voice trembled again. Tasha stepped away, emboldened by the billionaire's words, his influence wrapping around her like a silk ribbon. Behind them, Camille's eyes widened in panic. Maya. We need to intervene before it's too late. Instinct kicked in. The past few years had been a struggle, a fight to nurture and protect her daughter against a world that often felt like it wanted to silence voices like theirs. Just then, the billionaire leaned even closer to Tasha, whispering something that Maya couldn't hear. That silver tongue was working its magic, and she could see her daughter's spirit dancing with allure. Maya's heart pounded harder, a drumbeat of urgency. Veronica. A voice broke through the clamor, and a woman burst from the crowd. It was Maya's old dance instructor, a marvel of a woman who had trained dozens in their small community. Tasha, is everything okay? Tasha turned to her, brow furrowed but her voice steady. I'm fine, Miss Veronica. I'm just exploring an opportunity. Veronica stepped forward, sensing the tension. Opportunities can come wrapped in pretty packages, but you need to make sure what's inside is worth it. I've seen girls like you before. The billionaire interrupted with a playful grin, wise words, Veronica. But this isn't about her past. It's about her future. The chaos in Maya's mind swirled, each word from the billionaire a thread pulling tighter around Tasha. She felt trapped between the urgency of the message on her phone and the reality unfolding before her, and then, without thinking, she made her decision. Tasha, we need to go. Now. But Mom, no. This is not just an opportunity, it's a trap. The billionaire's smile faded, his patience wearing thin. You're making a mistake, Maya. Maya took a step closer, heart racing as she stood her ground, tears brimming in her eyes. I'm not letting you take her from me. And in that moment, an unusual calm fell upon Tasha. Maybe you don't trust me, Mom, but I trust myself. Before Maya could respond, the lights above them flickered ominously. All at once, she realized the tone had shifted, the air thickening with foreboding as a shadowy figure emerged from the adjacent path. Was it her imagination, or had someone been watching all along? The crowd murmured nervously, eyes darting. Maya's heart raced, unease flooding her as the heavy footsteps drew closer. Who was coming toward them? And what would it mean for her girl? Stay here. Maya blurted, her instinct flaring. The finality of her words felt like an anchor in the storm. Could she protect her daughter from whatever storm was looming? And just as the figure stepped into view, her fear crystallized into cold, hard reality. What had she unwittingly invited into their lives? Was this the beginning of a new adventure or the start of a nightmare? The figure emerged from the shadows, a wisp of a silhouette that drew gasps from the crowd. Maya squinted through the dimming lights. Her heartbeat thundered in her ears as her mind raced, desperate to make sense of the unexpected presence. That it was a man, tall and sharply dressed, standing out in stark contrast to the chaos around them. His features were obscured under the dim lighting, but there was an air of authority about him, like a predator that stalked its prey. As he stepped forward, the crowd instinctively shifted backwards, murmurs rippling through the air. Maya, he called, his voice smooth, yet chilling. Long time no see. Panic flared in her chest. She recognized him. Vincent. An old rival from her past, someone she had thought she'd left behind. The kind of person who thrived on chaos, who reveled in the misery of others. Her stomach twisted. Why was he here? Tasha took a step closer toward the billionaire, her back stiffening as if shielded by the charismatic man. Do you know him? She whispered, filled with an innocent curiosity that sent another wave of terror through Maya. Stay away from him. Maya shouted, the urgency in her voice cutting through the gathered throng. Vincent's smile widened, the corners of his mouth curling with delight, a predator who sensed fear in the air. Charming as ever, I see, he replied, glancing sideways at the billionaire. Looks like you're not the only one with ambitions for our star here. What do you want? Maya demanded, fighting to keep her voice steady while her insides churned. Oh, I just wanted to say hello. And maybe remind you that the world of dance is a lot smaller than you think. He lingered on the words, allowing them to hang captured in the air, thick and heavy. Some debts are hard to forget. Something about his tone made her freeze. Maya's jaw clenched, her mind racing. Debts? What debt? Her past felt like it was creeping back, shadows wrapping around her, suffocating her. Tasha turned, confusion etched on her face. She sensed the shift, the tension coiling among the spectators. Mom. Listen to me, Tasha, Maya breathed, her eyes darting between Tasha and Vincent. This man doesn't have your best interests at heart. I think Tasha can make her own choices, Vincent said, his voice silky, cutting through Maya's protective instincts like a knife. She's on the cusp of greatness. Why not grab it? Let her soar. After all, isn't that what you want for her? Tasha's expression faltered, uncertainty creeping into her features. Mom, maybe it would be a good idea to hear him out. No. Maya's voice was sharp, panicked. The crowd shifted again, uncertainty mixing with whispers and quick glances. She could feel their eyes on her, waiting to see what would happen next. Vincent stepped closer, a cat circling its trapped mouse. I think it's time you let your daughter decide her course, Maya. You're clutching her like a bird in a cage. Maya felt the weight of his words bury deep. I want to let you manipulate her. I know your games, Vincent. His grin widened, malice glittering in his eyes. Then you understand that walking away might not be an option after all. With those words, the flickering lights overhead sparked ominously, plunging the crowd into momentary darkness before flickering back to life. The tension across the plaza was palpable, ready to snap. Come on, Tasha, Maya said, voice steady despite the quake beneath her skin. We're leaving. Now. But at that moment, the billionaire stepped in front of Tasha, an unyielding wall of confidence. Let her choose, Maya. He locked eyes with her, an unspoken challenge shifting in the space between them. Let her dance. Maya felt the world around her compress. Would she lose her daughter to a dangerous game, a world she knew all too well? And in the shadows, Vincent's laughter echoed, a dark counterpoint to her heartbeat. Mom, please. Tasha's voice was strained, caught between loyalty and ambition. Maya's heart raced as she made her decision, but in her gut, she knew the stakes had escalated. This was no longer merely about a moment, it was a confrontation with her past, a decision that would influence her daughter's entire future, and then, just as she opened her mouth to speak, a siren blared in the distance, a shrill and terrifying sound that cut through the tension, halting everything, a signal of chaos or a call for help. What would they do now? How far could the shadows stretch before swallowing them whole? The crowd, once merely spectators, turned into an anxious sea of faces, their eyes flickering between Maya, Tasha, and Vincent. The wail of the siren intensified, a haunting backdrop to the silent standoff unfolding before them. Maya's heart raced, her instincts screaming that they were on the brink of disaster. What was that? Tasha asked, her voice tinged with anxious curiosity. It doesn't matter, Maya replied, fighting the swell of emotion rising in her throat. We need to get out of here. Vincent cut in sharply, his tone mocking as he gestured grandly to the pandemonium around them. And miss the grand spectacle? Oh, Maya, this is just getting good. He leaned closer to Tasha, the perfect image of sinister charm. What's a little chaos in exchange for a grand opportunity? Maya's skin crawled. She was losing control, and every second that ticked by felt like a nail pounding into her gut. You don't know what you're getting into, Tasha, she implored, her voice rising above the din. This isn't just about dance. It's a game, Vincent's game, and he always plays to win. For a brief moment, Tasha's expression flickered with doubt. But then, the billionaire smiled knowingly at her, and something shifted, the precarious balance tipping. Maya's breath caught as she recognized the look in her daughter's eyes, a yearning for approval, a desire to break free from the chains of her mother's fears. What's your decision, Tasha? Vincent purred, his dark eyes locked with hers as if they were woven into an unbreakable spell. Stay here under the crushing weight of your mother's fears, or step into the light of your own potential. Maya's mind raced. What would it take to pull Tasha back from the ledge? She had fought too hard to let her daughter be ensnared by someone like Vincent. Think about all we've worked for, she urged. The sacrifices, the dreams we've shared. This isn't just another performance, this is your future, Tasha. Don't let him steal that from you. But Tasha's gaze was fixed, and doubt flickered across her youthful face. Mom, I want to succeed. Before Maya could respond, the siren faded into an unsettling silence, almost as if the world was holding its breath. She felt a gust of wind sweep across the plaza, a chill that crept through her bones. The crowd was murmuring, a restless energy crackling in the air. How do you know I'm not here to help? Vincent said, his voice suddenly low, conspiratorial. You fear what you don't understand. But I can show her how far she can truly go. Unleash the power of her talent. Dance in the face of a world that would see her hidden. Hidden. Maya shot back, fury igniting her. No way would she allow Vincent's insidious words to tear apart their bond. She's not hidden, Vincent. She's right here with me, and that's where she belongs. Just then, the lights overhead flickered again, a storm building in the atmosphere, the electricity snapping like the tension in their group. The billionaire's face hardened, his confidence wavering for a brief moment, while Tasha's eyes darted nervously between them, her emotions in turmoil. Maya, maybe I really want to try, Tasha stammered, her voice barely reaching above the crowd's rustling. No. Maya gasped, her chest tightening as realization struck hard. The desire for her daughter's success could become a dangerous path, one paved with betrayal and deceit. Vincent leaned in, barely above a whisper, you see, Maya, the real danger isn't in the pursuit of dreams. It's stagnation. She should be dancing on a stage, but all you want is to keep her living in your shadow. Maya felt herself teetering on the edge of panic. Was Vincent right? In her quest to protect Tasha, could she be suffocating her spirit? Just as the chaotic tension reached a fever pitch, the figure of a police officer emerged at the edge of the crowd, lantern in hand, cutting through the fever of uncertainty. The voice that commanded attention pierced through the chaos, stay where you are. There's been a disturbance. A fragile gasp spread through the audience, and in that split second, things began to spiral. Maya's heart lurched. What was about to unfold? Would she have the power to shield Tasha from Vincent's wicked web, or was it too late to save her from a perilous future? With fear gripping her, she knew one thing for sure. The real fight was just beginning. Would Tasha have the courage to break free, or would she embrace the darkness waiting with open arms? The moment hung suspended, and Maya braced herself for the storm that was about to break. The atmosphere thickened, a charged silence pressing against Maya's chest. The police officer, grim and imposing, stood like a sentinel against the encroaching chaos. His flashlight swept across the crowd, illuminating startled faces frozen in a mix of curiosity and fear. Maya's thoughts raced. Could the law somehow untangle this malignant knot before it strangled them all? Stay calm. The officer commanded, voice steady. We need to secure the area. No one leaves. Maya felt weightless, her heart plummeting. Tasha's eyes widened, shifting between the officer and Vincent, her indecision radiating like heat waves in the tumult. It was clear Vincent thrived in this chaos, feeding off the tension in ways that made Maya's skin crawl. "What did you do?" Maya hissed, narrowing her gaze at Vincent, who exuded an unsettling calmness. She could almost see his mind working, plotting his next move like a chess master anticipating his opponent's reactions. "Me?" Vincent grinned, feigning innocence while his dark eyes shone with an unsettling light. "I'm merely a spectator, Maya. Perhaps this show is about to get even more thrilling." Before she could retort, a commotion broke out at the edge of the crowd. People began to push back, faces blurring into frantic expressions of worry and confusion. Distressed murmurs echoed like a wave rolling toward them. With each passing heartbeat, the tension grew thicker and more suffocating, like a noose tightening around her throat. "Mom!" Tasha cried out, a tremor creeping into her voice. "What is happening?" "It's going to be okay," Maya abruptly reassured her, though the words felt empty against the backdrop of her frantic heart. She reached for Tasha, trying to ground her daughter amidst the brewing storm. But her own certainty began to crumble, undermined by Vincent's dark allure. "Let her choose, Maya." Vincent's voice was sharp, cutting through the din. "This is about finding her path, her truth. Isn't that what you want?" Maya's thoughts raced. Did she want to crush Tasha's aspirations? But standing beside a man like Vincent awakened something in her, a fear tangling with the hope she always imagined. She glanced at Tasha, whose eyes were shining with a mixture of apprehension and excitement. The need to break free from the familiar had ignited something dangerously bright within her. "Mom, maybe I should listen to him," Tasha said, the words rising like a tremor in the air. He's a professional. I could learn no." Maya's voice erupted, raw and fierce, surprising even herself. Time itself seemed to pause, the crowd's movement becoming a slow-motion tableau of uncertainty. "Maya, listen." Vincent leaned forward, his charm dissolving to reveal venomous intent. "Do you really think you can protect her from this world by hiding her away? It's time for Tasha to step into the spotlight." The sudden movement of police officers breaking through the crowd snapped Maya back into focus. Their presence heavy and menacing demanded attention. The officer raised his voice, directing them to clear a path. Maya's heart raced with dread as they began encircling her and Tasha, creating a perimeter. She never wanted the spotlight, never wanted a stage. All she wanted was to shield her daughter from predators who thrived on vulnerability. But in the tug-of-war between safety and ambition, she felt herself fraying. Tasha glanced back at her, uncertainty clouding her youthful features, searching for guidance. With each moment of indecision, Maya felt her connection to Tasha stretching thin, as if it could snap at any moment. "Think about it," Vincent murmured, his voice low, almost intimate. "What if you're holding her back from becoming everything she's meant to be?" With a harsh gasp, Maya's grip on Tasha tightened, but she understood a decision had to be made. Did she risk it all to protect her daughter from Vincent's influence? Or was it time to let Tasha take a step into the unknown, despite the fear gnawing at her? Just then, the crowd erupted. The sound of a scream sliced through the tension, raw and terrified. The officers' heads whipped around as chaos unfurled in an instant. What was that? Tasha screamed, eyes wide with terror. Maya's heart dropped. What had they stumbled into? The weight of her choices hung heavily in the air. Every heartbeat echoed a singular question: could she save them both, or would they be swallowed whole by the darkness that circled like a predator waiting for its prey? The confusion unraveled, ushering in uncertainty as they stood poised on the brink of something dangerous. Would this be the moment they found strength together, or the critical point where everything shattered? The scream rang like a bell, reverberating through the crowd, quickening the pulse of anxiety in Maya's chest. Faces shifted, turning, straining to find the source of the chaos. She felt Tasha clutch her arm tighter, fingers digging in as though it were the only anchor keeping her from the unknown depths beneath them. "Mom, what's happening?" Tasha's voice trembled, pitching higher like a warning siren. "I don't know," Maya breathed, a pulse of dread curling in her stomach. A scuffle broke out near the police line, limbs flailing, shadows darting beneath the glaring spotlight of the flashlights. The officers instinctively reached for their radios, their expressions morphing from calm to urgent as they pointed and swept forward. Maya's heart raced, each thud resounding like a war drum. Time felt suspended, the air charged with danger and desperation. "Stay together," she urged, forcing her voice to remain steady. The reality was slipping through her fingers, each second stretching into an eternity, twisting their fate tighter, like a noose. Vincent laughed, a low, chilling sound that sent shivers down her spine. "Isn't this exhilarating? The way it all spirals into chaos. This is life, Maya. Raw and unfiltered." She turned to him, fury rising like molten lava. "Exhilarating? People could be hurt." His eyes glinted with something dangerous. "Exactly. The edge is where people find who they truly are." Suddenly, a figure emerged from the crowd, a young man, eyes wild, face streaked with sweat and panic. "They're coming!" he shouted, pushing through the throng. "They want him. We have to." Before he could finish, a heavy thud echoed as another body crashed to the ground, the acrid smell of fear leaking into the air. Gasps filled the space, the crowd recoiling like a coiled spring ready to snap. Maya turned instinctively, shielding Tasha from the chaos spiraling wildly before them. "Let us get out of here," she said, determination sharpening her voice. She pulled Tasha closer, but a brick wall seemed to stand where a path had once been, officers blocking any exit, urgency rising in the air, thick like smoke. "No one gets through," the officer barked, moving further down the perimeter. "Stay calm and stay put." Maya's mind raced as she scanned the crowd. She couldn't let Tasha get swept away. Not now. Not when darkness whispered promises of danger and betrayal. But just as she began to push through the throng, Vincent's fingers grazed her shoulder, holding her captive with an affectionate grip that felt menacingly familiar. "Don't be rash. You need to understand the game. Life is a performance, and you both," he gestured to them, "are the stars." "Stars? Or sacrifices?" Maya snapped, fire igniting in her now focused vision. "There's nothing glamorous in being bait." His pleasant demeanor dropped a notch, his smile thin as a razor edge. "But isn't this what you've been working toward?" Tasha breaking free, grasping for something greater. A break in the crowd revealed something shocking, a man lurching forward, face smeared with blood, terror spilling from his eyes. He was stumbling past the gathered spectators, his cries piercing through the thick tension. "Help!" Then the crowd exploded with fear, a legion of bodies recoiling back, pulsing with panic. In that instant, it felt as if the ground shifted beneath them, chaos became a living beast, hungry and alive. Maya's breath caught in her throat. It was not just about them anymore. A dark wave swept through the spectators, pushing them farther from the unknown threat. And that knowledge lit a primal instinct in her. She had to protect Tasha, no matter what the cost. As the crowd surged, Maya steeled herself. She spun Tasha around, locking eyes with her. "We need to go, now." But before she could make a move, a shadow loomed behind them, heavy and foreboding. A figure emerged cloaked in darkness, sprawling like a nightmare. Maya's heart jolted, a sick feeling bubbling to the surface. "Mom!" Tasha's voice dropped to a whisper, her innocence shattered by the weight of realization. "Stay behind me," Maya ordered, fear curling around her heart like barbed wire. But even as she stood firm, self-doubt gnawed at her strength. What would she be willing to fight against? Was she prepared to face the real monster hidden in the chaos straining around them? The answer hovered in the air, tantalizingly elusive. And then, the lights flickered out, plunging everything into darkness. A resounding silence fell. But a heartbeat later, the unmistakable sound of footsteps crackled in the night, steady and ominous. What were they up against? Would they face it together, or would fear pull them apart? Maya's heart thundered in her chest as the darkness enveloped them. Panic washed over her, the once vibrant park now felt like a pit of despair. Tasha clung to her side, fear radiating from their shared connection, a primal bond forged in love and defiance. With every step, the ominous footsteps drew nearer, echoing through the hollow space, pushing her resolve to the limit. "Mom, I'm scared," Tasha murmured, her voice barely a whisper. "Me too, baby. But we have to stick together," Maya reassured, her own voice trembling as she scanned the murky shadows. She felt for Tasha's hand, squeezing it tight. "Stay close. Trust me." The chaos of the crowd dissipated, replaced by a chilling silence, like they were the last two standing in an abandoned world. Fear gnawed at Maya, but a small ember of determination ignited within her. Suddenly, headlights pierced the darkness as police cars stormed into the lot, their sirens bathing the scene in an eerie glow. It was as if the flickering lights had broken a spell, shaking the very fabric of fear that had cocooned them. Shouts and commands echoed, slicing through the tension where Vincent had stood. "Maya," a familiar voice called out. It was Camille, sprinting toward them, breathless and frantic. "Thank God you're safe. Camille. We need to get out of here," Maya urged, frantically scanning the area for any sign of danger. The police were forming a barrier, commanding order and controlling the chaos, but her instinct screamed it wasn't over yet. "I'm here to help," Camille shouted as she reached them. "We need to get Tasha to safety." "Where's the billionaire?" She glanced around nervously, sensing the uncertainty that hung in the air. "He's with Vincent," Maya replied, her mouth dry as she realized the implications. "We have to keep Tasha away from them." Just then, Vincent and the billionaire emerged from the shadows, their close-knit discussion morphing into something sinister. Vincent's expression twisted into a cruel smile upon seeing the trio approach. "You think you can shield her, Maya?" he taunted. "You were always too protective, and look where that got you." The billionaire stood beside him, a tension radiating from him as he eyed Tasha. There was something unnerving about how they both seemed to relish the chaos they had created. Tasha met her mother's gaze, confusion swirling in her bright eyes. "Mom, I can take care of myself. I want to dance." "This is my chance," she said, waver in her tone. "No, Tasha. We're leaving." "This isn't the opportunity you think it is," Maya snapped, the desperation spilling from her with every word. "You don't know what they want from you. Do you even hear yourself?" Vincent sneered. "Holding her back was your only belief, Maya. She has potential beyond your comprehension." "No." Maya cried, her voice rising above the chaos. "You don't speak about my daughter like that." With renewed courage, she stepped forward, emotion bursting forth. "You think you can manipulate her? Dance isn't just a stage, it's freedom from the chains of your greed. This isn't a game, Vincent." The billionaire regarded her with cool eyes, a facade of indifference cloaking his true intent. It could be a game worth playing if she were wise enough to choose herself. There was a palpable tension in the air, a standoff that felt like time stretching. Tasha's face shifted, suddenly coated with determination. "I'm not scared of you," she blurted, her youthful spark igniting in the darkness of uncertainty. "I want to dance. I want to be who I am." Maya's breath caught, a lump forming in her throat. "But this isn't safe, Tasha. They will twist your dreams into weapons." The police officers directed the crowd, and a few onlookers made their way toward the shimmering lights of freedom, yet they remained trapped within this web of darkness. "Tasha," Maya implored, her eyes voice pleading, filled with motherly love. Tasha inhaled sharply, a moment of vulnerability flickering across her features. "Mom, please," she said softly. "Maybe I'll just dance. But it's my choice." Maya's heart shattered. Would she lose her spirited girl to a world eager to consume her vibrant light? I love you. Please, just remember that there's strength in our bond, she whispered, her tears painting the heat of her voice, but the moment hung thick with tension as Tasha turned, glancing to the twirling shadows of Vincent and the billionaire, people reduced to mere characters in a sinister appropriated performance. Before she blinked, Tasha's gaze became steely and fierce. I'm going to dance for me, Tasha declared, stepping forward to face the challenge. With a rush of adrenaline mingling with dread, Maya realized the finality of Tasha's decision. Would she fight for her daughter or embrace this wild dance into the unknown? The crowd fell silent, the world quieted down to a fine murmur, a breath of anticipation curling through them all. Maya felt an energy shift as Tasha found her center. Very well, then, the billionaire said, a twisted grin unfolding. Let us see what you've got, Tasha. Maya stood frozen as her heart broke and swelled simultaneously, a complex storm swirling within her. It was the moment she both dreaded and yearned for. Her daughter, despite all circumstance, was ready to take a leap of faith. Tasha. Maya shouted, the name echoing in desperation, a last glimmer of hope hanging in the air. Just as Tasha began to dance, the police stepped closer, lights flashing in a dazzling pursuit of the dark beings before them. The crowd erupted, gasping in awe at the unsuspected performance. It was a beautiful act of rebellion painted with desperation, a moment that could lead to liberation or peril. As her daughter danced, Maya stepped forward, defying the shadows encroaching upon them. She would fight for Tasha's spirit to remain unbroken, for dreams to be free and real. In that fractured moment of uncertainty, she'd reclaim her role as protector, dancing beside her in spirit even in the shadows. Let her soar, she shouted fiercely, blazing with fire, her voice merging with Tasha's spirit. Let love and courage prevail. As the lights shone, illuminating the unfolding scene of joy amidst dark specters, Maya felt the air shift. It was time to stand up, not just as a mother but as a warrior, protecting not just her daughter but the future of their shared dreams. The culmination of resolve resounded in every heartbeat. Hope would guide them. And in that moment, they would not just survive, they would dance. Now, readers, it's your turn to join the dance of storytelling. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss any upcoming exclusive stories that can inspire you just like Tasha. Smash that like button now to feed the hungry algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories on this ending. Let your voice be heard. And please, instantly share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this empowering conclusion. Don't wait even one more second to share. We're in this together, and only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.